flag bearer internationally. The programming, you portray our culture, you basically speak for us, right? And you showcase the rich culture, the traditions, our interests internationally, our values. So you hold a very significant position, in the media space. And we as regulators, we are glad that we're able to sit down together because there are so many things we can do together. I mean, bearing in mind that we are reviewing the digital switchover, there's so much we can do. There's so much we can look at and work together to portray your mandates as well as our mandates. We'll find an alignment that works. For example, we can look at areas of production. We can look at areas of content. What kind of content do we push out there that will propagate the interest of Nigeria?
Excited and delighted to be here. The last time I visited NBC, I sat here where my protocol officer was sitting while the Honorable Minister was here. Then
I wasn't here.
You were not here. But my sister and all the very senior people were all here. And I'm here today by the grace of Almighty Allah, visiting as head of one of the agencies under the Ministry of Information and National Orientation. Like my brother said, this is something we've been talking about, either NBC visiting Voice of Nigeria or we also doing the same thing. And I said, no, you allow me to come first. Even as yesterday, I pleaded, I said, please let me visit first to see you and then to also talk to you. I'd like to commend you, my dear brother, for what you've been doing. We have been following at Voice of Nigeria with your team. And like I said, you will be surprised that I'm here with what you call perhaps the entire strategic members of the team. Because for me, no leader can rise above the collective intellect of his team. We are just brought here to provide leadership, but it is the human resources that we met on ground that we're going to use to be able to do the mandate. So wherever I go with my team. I want that renewed team spirit among us as colleagues. Like your own team, almost everybody here, they are organic to the institution. Some of them, since they left the university, have been involved. I spent almost 3 decades here. Let me also speak to one very important issue that you did talk about, which is about synergy and collaboration, which as members of the national communication team, we can have it better. We have related very well as brothers, as colleagues, and there's hardly a week that we don't talk to ourselves about what we need to do, how we can move our institutions forward, and collectively the Ministry of Information under the leadership of the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation. So for me, this is something that we should cherish, and I'm glad that we are moving in that direction. Like you rightly noted too, DG, I am here first to say well done with what you're doing on your team, but also say that let's continue the race together as we have started together. But to also say that we are determined with our team to seek new partnership, consolidate on the existing one like what we have here, in telling Nigeria and African story. And you are right in what you said. There is no public platform like Voice of Nigeria on the continent of Africa that on a daily basis is empowered by law that has the mandate to tell Nigeria and African story, to build positive narrative about Nigeria and Nigerians, Africa and Africa. And you're right about our cultures, our differences, our diversity. And there's even no better time to do it than now, when people are busy telling their own stories. We should tell our own. If you don't tell our own, we'll tell it. As Nigerians, we know what we are facing. Once you travel as a private citizen or as a government official, the way you are treated is dependent on the perception that is created about you and your country. In Nigeria, we are working with NIDCAM, also to get Nigerians wherever they are, to even serve as freelance reporters where things are happening about Nigeria. They should be able to share it every day with us so that we can tell the world. And also to tell you that we do this in 8 languages, 4 local and 4 international: Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, and Fulfulde. Of course, by the categorization of languages in Nigeria, we have the major languages which go Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo, and then Fulfulde, which is much more an African language. The international English, naturally, because it's our national language, then French, Arabic, and Swahili. But since I came on board, I am also working with my team to also start broadcasting Mandarin, and then Portuguese and Bahasa Indonesia. Because when you look at Nigeria influence the Gulf of Guinea, armed forces, particularly the Nigerian Navy, doing a lot there, but nobody is also able to share that story. And then there are countries in Africa that Portuguese is their national language. I've also got in touch with the Angola embassy. They are willing to support us in terms of capacity building and other areas. Many of the things that you talk about as a regulatory body, we are ready to give you the desired support and to partner with you, particularly in areas of content sharing, because one of the things that we also discover in VON is that there is a generational shift, and therefore, we want to maintain our traditional platform, because we also believe that still in Nigeria and the continent of Africa, there are still people who listen to radio traditional way, and therefore to build an inclusive broadcast institution, you have to merge convergence where you have text, audio, and then a video platform. But we are working to have a generation of young people, the Gen Zs, to embrace what we are doing at Voice of Nigeria. And like it, we have started work with even the youth corpus and some interns who come, so that they can also live this community.